Hi guys, welcome back to SwitchUp. I'm Mark Walker. A big thanks to Merge who have sponsored this sales video. This is going to be a good one as well because we have been given a ton of copies of Children of Morta to give away over the next few sales videos. And not only is it one of my favourite games, but it's just had a massive update. And all you have to do is leave a normal comment. You don't even have to subscribe if you don't want to. But if you enjoy the content, then consider sticking around. We'll pick out a couple of decent comments and just discussions, and then we'll put a community post out tomorrow telling you exactly who's won the first round of copies of that game. Stick around to the end of the video as well, where we do our usual and pick out a couple of games that you should absolutely avoid. But regardless, the Switch is a bit like Steam now, isn't it? It's tough to pick out what's worth buying even when it's on sale. So what's worth picking up? Let's find out. First up then, and we have Saints Row 4, which I recently reviewed on the channel. Now they did quite a bit of work with this one in terms of the performance and the way it runs on the Switch. I think they learned a lot with the third release, which it's a good game, but it had a lot of performance issues. Now personally, I really enjoyed Saints Row 4. It adds in a bit of superhero shenanigans to the mix, and I think most people actually preferred number 3, but I just liked the freedom that gave you, just bounding over entire buildings and sending cars and people flying in all directions. It was great. It took me back to my days playing Infamous and Prototype, which were two amazing games on the PS3 that I enjoyed. This time around, it has gyro controls and all the other bits and bobs you might want on the Switch version, and I'd say it would be a decent pickup in a sale.
Spirit of the North is a 3D adventure game which sees you making your way across stunning landscapes on an emotionally fueled journey. You will discover the mysterious Spirit Fox as she guides you across a land left in ruin, and you'll discover more about the ancient civilization that once inhabited it in a story told through emotion and not words. You will need to solve a variety of environmental puzzles, with each shaping the world as you play and granting you further access to new areas. You will even find yourself having ancient powers bestowed upon you by the Guardian of the Northern Lights, boosting your abilities and assisting you in getting further on in your journey. With an original orchestral soundtrack consisting of 14 compositions, a beautiful landscape to savour and secret collectibles to find, this is definitely a journey worth taking. Spirits of the North is out on the Switch on the 7th of May and costs £19.99, €20.99, $24.99 or $31 Australian dollars 50. It also comes with an introductory discount of 20% off, which will last until the 20th of May in the US and the 21st elsewhere.
The game that I've picked up in this sale is Cave Blazers, which I didn't know a great deal about, but for this price, I mean, it's ridiculously cheap, and I thought, you know what, it's worth a punt. Let's see if it's worth the video. And I've really enjoyed it. It's got a few features that you'll have seen in many games. It has that roguelite element where you'll start out with nothing, you head down into these caves, and you gradually build up your gear and loot, but the combat's fun. I enjoy the aesthetic, and the music's nice as well, and it's definitely a game that I would say is a sales pickup. The sale on this one goes on until I think it's the 14th of May, so you've got a few days to decide, and there may be a demo on this one as well. Go check it out and see if it's for you.
Mortar, continue to amass your barbaric bounty until you... Oh no, you died, you silly sausage. Back in there, hero. I never said this is easy, did I? I did say that? Oh, well, I was incorrect. It's clearly very difficult. But it's too late now. You can't stop playing.
Then there is the outstanding Children of Mortar, which has just had a massive update. It adds a new game plus, which I know a lot of us missed from the original release. We just thought it needed something after you'd finished the game. And a hard mode, which is brutal. It's so brutal. You can play with multiple people on the same console. It has an old school Diablo feel to it, except you control the combat directly, and you'll guide the Bergson family through their inevitable quest to defeat evil. Just looking at the visuals, it's delightful. We do have a number of copies of this one to give away over the coming weeks as we work our way towards 100k. So yeah, just leave a comment down below. You don't have to do anything special, don't try and be clever, just be normal, and we'll pick out a winner and announce it in a community post in the coming days. This sale goes on until the 25th. Another game which is on sale quite often, but my daughter, she's convinced me to add it to this list because she's been really enjoying it. And it's Blossom Tales, which the sale goes on till the 20th. It's a huge discount again. It's classic Zelda formula, action-adventure title with some puzzles and dungeons thrown in, but it does everything just right. There's nothing wrong with imitating something if you do it so well that you create your own following, and I think that's what Blossom Tales has done, and I'm sure many of you down in the comments have probably played this before and would agree with me. Also a title that, yeah, I can definitely recommend for kids to play. It's very fun indeed. Check out the demo if you're not quite sure. Next up then, we've got Shadow Blade Reload, which I mentioned probably about 2 months ago, I think, in a sales video because it popped up and I bought it, and it's great. It's brilliant. It's so slick and smooth. It does everything well. Has a bit of a Ninja Gaiden vibe to it, but also reminds me a touch of Mark of the Ninja. It's very smooth, really slick, not the most complex or deep game in the world, but that's probably not why you'd want to buy it in the first place. This sale goes on till the 16th, and it does the puzzle platform sections really nicely, but also the combat is handled well. I was surprised, personally, how good this game was. Next up is a game that I'm glad that I can talk about because I loved it when it launched, but the performance was horrible, and it's Hell Warders. Now this sale goes on until the 17th, and this is essentially a mixture of an action game with tower defense. You place your troops where you want to place them, you can angle them, and then you have to fight off the hordes of hell that are trying to destroy your base. Each of the playable characters has a number of different skills. There's online multiplayer here that is brilliant. Now, you know what the Nintendo Switch Online's like, it can be a bit hit and miss, but hopefully with this on sale you'll be able to find a few good games. There are a number of different maps and arenas, there's a campaign mode to play through, and as you gradually unlock the more powerful defences, it can feel really quite strategic. I like this one a lot, and thankfully they've patched it up so performance is much better than when it first launched. It's visually not a stunner, but it's got a lovely personality. Then there's Hand of Fate 2, which I think Glen reviewed on the channel. He really enjoyed it. It mixes this very deep and complex card building mechanic with a real-time action combat game. When you enter the instances, you have to actually fight the characters and fight the creatures, and then you'll go back out to that mysterious character who then deals you out your cards. This is undoubtedly an excellent game, and it's received a couple of patches since launch as well, and the Switch is a good place to play it. As I said, that sale goes on until the 14th. Next up, we've got pretty much an essential pickup for anyone that likes good games, and it's the Digiti Pixel Art Bundle Part 1. You're getting 3 really good games that I would happily pay this price for individually, but they're $5.69, or your regional equivalent, for Slain Back from Hell, which is a side-scrolling hack-and-slash adventure title with amazing metal music, Uncanny Valley, which is an interesting survival horror that requires multiple playthroughs to see everything, and it's pretty scary to be honest, and then Bleed, which is a 2D action platformer that's got like eye-popping colour, really easy to play and great fun. So all 3 of those games for $5, I mean what a bargain, and well worth picking up. Last but not least, on the games you should potentially buy then, we've got Aldous Blood from No Gravity Games. Now, it describes itself as a little bit of XCOM, a little bit of Darkest Dungeon, and some Bloodborne thrown in for the mix, and that's pretty accurate. I wouldn't say it's as good potentially as any of those games, but it's still a nice title. It has a few mechanics which I really enjoy, like the ability to mask your scent by being downwind, or sorry, upwind, but I did find that the difficulty ramps up, so it can get very, very challenging, and it feels a touch too challenging at times. Now, having said that, it's still a lovely experience. The visuals are great. It looks very polished and high budget, and I do like the tactical gameplay. There's a demo of this one, so maybe go and check it out before you make the purchase, but Aldous Blood definitely deserves a mention and potentially a pickup while on sale. That sale goes on until the 21st.
Yet we must use the shadows to slay what lurks within. Horror. I have seen no end to it.
Okay, so it's my favourite time of the week. Oh yes, it's where we talk about 2 games that you should steer clear of, like that creepy neighbour who collects dead animals and then invites you over for a glass of Chianti and perhaps some liver. First up then is Black Sad. Now, this should have been an absolute buy. It should have been great. Performance should have been 60 frames per second. Visuals should have been crisp. Load times should have been incredible. And the comic book inspiration should have been the makings of a great game. The performance on the Switch is diabolical. The visuals are absolute gaff. There's glitches, bugs, crashes. It's just a complete disaster from start to finish, and it makes me very sad indeed. Black Sad? No, shame, because actually underneath it, there's a good game just crying to get out. Following on from that, we have Thief Simulator. Now, again, there's a good game in here. In fact, it was a VR title, and it works well in VR. It's the perfect game for just, creeping around and opening lock boxes and picking locks and doing that in VR. It's fun, but unfortunately on the Switch I just did not enjoy it at all. It felt like it was in the wrong shoes almost. It didn't fit. Performance again isn't great. It dips down, visuals are clunky, and I wouldn't say this is nearly as bad as Black Sad, but it's not a game I would recommend. It felt like they had all the parts in place, but then they just needed to kind of put the story or put something over the top that actually tied it all together. So there we have it for this week. Let me know down in the comments any games that you've picked up, any that you enjoy from the list, and do make sure your notifications are switched on for when we announce the winner in the community post tomorrow for some of these lovely Children of Mortar copies. A big thanks to our patrons who have decided to support us in this difficult time. We really do appreciate it. It's completely not essential, but it's awesome. For all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers guys. See ya!